Images and Brent, it looks pretty bad. Where are you standing right now?
Jenny and Dan, good afternoon to you. Good morning. We are at 13th and Quinby right now. We are in an area where there is a lot of flooding. Take a look right now. You can see, though we have been here for about the last 30 minutes and we have started to notice some of the water start to go down. So that is the good news. As I kind of just walk through here, you can see that this is 13th and Quinby here. They are doing some construction here, and you can see this van over here. Earlier when we got here, the water was above the wheel line right there. So you can see just the amount of water we have had here. And if we bring the camera back towards me here, I can kind of walk towards this storm drain here, and you can see some of the water that's starting to bubble up. We have been going across the metro today. We've seen this problem very frequently. We were earlier on Northwest Burnside Road, and we saw just a river of rocks is the best way to describe all of the debris. Take a look at this car right down here. This is what, folks, you should not do. Look at this vehicle right here. It is actually backing up. So this vehicle just started to drive in the water here, and you can see, oh, look at that. It actually just hit the manhole cover. I don't know if you guys were able to see it here, but you can see the vehicle. So we've heard PBOT, Dylan Rivera, just saying to turn around, do not go into any standing water because it's very, very dangerous. You don't know how deep it is, and as you can see, that vehicle is safely getting out. But we were on Southwest Dosh Road earlier this morning, and we saw one vehicle get stuck just because it was so deep. The car bottomed out. Even SUVs were having problem getting through the roads here. But again, just look at the vehicles here. You can just see all of the water that's coming so close to them. I talked to one of the residents here. He said he heard about the rain from another neighbor and quickly came out here to move his car. So we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Yeah, Brent, I was going to ask you, or do we still have Brent right now? We do. Okay, I was going to ask you, have people been trying to go, because I've been seeing some of those same cars parked there. Have people been trying to go and move their cars, or did they figure at this point they can't?
You know, at this point, we haven't seen too many people come by. It's really, I don't even know how deep it would be out here. I have boots that are about, that gets me through about 3 feet here. And this is about as far as I want to go because it starts to get a little wet right there. I can feel it starting to hit my shins. So a lot of people, they may be thinking, it's a little bit too late now.
Yeah, and also, Brent, I know a lot of those condos that are being built there, the garages are underground. Have you seen, is water going down into some of those?
Well, we can actually swing the camera around over here too, and you can see the way this street is, Northwest Quinby here, it is kind of just rushing all of that water out. And in the distance, I know we can't see it from the camera, but they do have a pump that is pumping water out from underneath. I assume down here, and as I kind of walk over, I'm just going to walk over here and see yeah, down over here in the construction zone, there is a lot of standing water, but I imagine that these people, they know how to deal with this, but we haven't been able to talk to these folks who are building here.
Hey, Brent, any indication that the water is flowing into the basements of these buildings around here?
No, and I talked to one person. She said she went down into the basement because they have storage there. She said there was no water there yet. So, they're keeping their fingers very crossed here. But as you know, since we started this live report, the water is starting to slowly go up now because there was at a point where I could not see this. Now we can see it, and again, it's starting to slowly rise here in the Pearl District.
All right, Brent, well, thanks for giving us a look at that. Pretty bad there in the Pearl District and really that whole area.
You would think there'd be people standing there looking at their cars going, what's going on? But maybe, as Brent said, they've already dealt with it and said, well, what can I do?
Right.
Go off to work and what you have to do to and wait for the water to go back down.
Yeah.
Okay, Cor Harlan, he's in Gresham, if I understand correctly, the situation out there. He's got an umbrella. We need to get you some hardier outdoor gear.
Good umbrella.
There, Cor. So what's happening?
Well, I got some of it on our camera gear, actually, Dan. We're at the Palmquist Estates. This is right about where US 26 meets Southeast Palmquist here in Gresham. And let me just show you what's going on right here. This is a trailer park that is a good portion of it is underwater right now. We are sort of in the upper reaches of some streams and tributaries that fall into Johnson Creek right here. And I'm told by a couple of people that live in here that they are the victims this morning of a very small culvert that simply will not drain enough water out of this trailer park. These two cars that Kathleen will show you right there are standing there because they can't be started right now. Somebody just been over there a few minutes ago, but you see just a huge, huge torrent of water coming right down here. And I'll show you how deep it is. We've kind of measured this and felt around with our feet a little bit. This is how deep it is right in the middle of the street, and I can't show you now because the camera's over there. But as I look up here, I see a quarter of a mile of mobile homes, and I see water up and over the headlights of some cars in some cases here. So some folks have been trying to get some belongings out of here earlier this morning. Unit 50 over here, we saw a fellow just traipsing through the water here with bags of anything he could get his hands on in an effort to get them out of here, Denny and Jan. And this is all water that will eventually fall into Johnson Creek, which is under a flood warning, of course. Talked with the city of Portland this morning, and they have done a lot of things to try and mitigate flooding here. They got a land banking program that they essentially buy land in and around Johnson Creek and use it as a drainage area to let all the flood water occasionally flow into a natural area to sort of alleviate some of the flooding problem there. And they say that prevents the floods that happen every year or so, but in a big event like this one, there's simply too much water for anything to tolerate. Jenny and Dan?
Corey, are there any that are still inside of their homes, or have they pretty much all gotten out of there? What were they told to do?
I think a good many people are still in these homes. One fellow we talked to here about a half an hour ago said that he got up early this morning and went to take his kid to school, and when he got up, he said the water had risen so rapidly and so quickly that he was not able to get his car back in there. I want to just walk over here because the wheels of these cars are really telling. You see where the water is here right now? The water about a half an hour ago was about a third of the way up that wheel. So here, way up at the top of the food chain here, as far as river flow goes in Johnson Creek, the water is still rising, coming off of Mount Hood and the foothills here. And as I turn around and look into these cars here, you're not able to see it here, but this is really going to be sad for somebody to look at because this entire car, halfway up the back seat, is filled with water. I assume the other car that's out here is in sort of the same condition. There's water. Yeah, there's simply water all over this. And we'll try and get a different camera angle here so you can actually see up the boulevard right here. But I'd say for probably a quarter of a mile, there's water up there right in the street. There's a creek that I'm told runs right along 26. It is, as you can see, running well over its banks this morning, Jenny and Dan.
Well, Cor,